Shalom Markim to Rakam Compulsion, GMS Son. I want to start by giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh, double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and honors out there to the brethren on the highways and byways teaching the truth in all sincerity. Okay, this video is going to be based off this little video news article, that we see recently, man. They're getting, they're pushing this Mark of the Beast tech out more and more, man. Okay, and now it sounds like they try to make it a common thing amongst the workplace, man. Before it was only in certain places you might see this in work wise, in certain places you might see this, but now they're trying to push it like this is what all these companies are moving to, man. And one day real soon you're gonna find yourself being asked or being told that you're gonna have to take a RFID microchip if you want to continue working here. Okay, I wanted to throw into this video as well, the right to work, because that's just currently these companies they employ a process called right to work. Okay, which in any business, any company deals with this. Okay, and you'd have to have proof of your right to work in, let's say here in the UK, you have to have original documents. Okay, and valid paperwork basically to work here. Okay, the same thing's gonna apply with this RFID chip in the future, man, which is gonna prevent you from working without the RFID chip, which is gonna have all that stuff on it. Okay, your passport, your picture, all that kind of stuff is going to be on the RFID chip. It's going to prevent you from working if you do not have one. Okay, and this is how this whole world is going to be taken with this RFID chip, this mark of the beast. Okay, how it's going to affect everybody. Okay, I'm going to play this video first, and then I'll get into the other stuff afterwards. Okay, so I'm sure play this, and you can hear this and see this. Okay.
Let me ask you at home, and even the guys here in the studio, a question. Let's say your boss offered you an easier way to log onto your computer in the morning, or bypass having to get change for the vending machine, or even get through a secure door by having a microchip planted in your hand. Anyone? Yes? Anyone? Yeah, well, it's apparently happening, and not everybody's happy about the idea.
I'm stunned to hear that that's actually something that's being considered now. I mean, that sounds so science fiction.
Kind of does, doesn't it? That's why we put Samuel Burke on the task. Apparently the guys in the studio aren't having it. How about you? What do you think of this?
Well, it's experimental, so we can't be sure of what's going to happen. But you know me, I'm an experimental type of guy. So I will go along with it when it comes to work, nothing else, hey? But basically, what this company is doing, they're trying this out. And I've got to tell you, this is RFID technology. That probably doesn't mean a lot to anybody at home, but it's the same technology we have in our badges that we use to get into work. So there's a company in Wisconsin, they're giving employees the option, and about 50 out of the 80 employees have opted to do it. So they can, instead of using the badge, or instead of using their phone to buy something at the vending machine, or instead of using a credit card, they just have a little chip inserted into their hand right there between the thumb and your pointer finger. It's done by either a tattoo artist or someone who has a license to do piercings put in that way. And it's really just the same technology.
Just a quick point in that. I mean, they mentioned that 50 of the 80 people opted to take this of their own, they was agreeable, man. That's a large, that's what, 60%, 70% of those people agreed with that, man. So a lot of you people are gonna, willingly take this chip, man. You can see it happening already, man. These people are tech geeks and whatever, and they think it's cool. Okay, so they ain't afraid because they're not concerned about the implications of doing all this, man. Us men that know the scriptures and that, we know that where this is leading, man. This is leading to people's destruction. Okay, so us brothers, we're gonna avoid this at all costs. At all costs. Okay. Other people will just find it spooky, man. Okay, but we're gonna avoid this at all costs. Now, another thing. On top of that, he mentioned any person that can do piercings and things like that, which shows you, man, that according to scriptures, man, I believe you look up the word charagma, it means inserted. Okay, piercing, man. Okay, showing you that this is the mark of the beast, man. Okay, whoever can do piercing, you know, it's a piercing in the skin, man. It's going to be inserted into your right hand on your forehead. Okay, we're going to get the scripture in a little while. Okay, but it's just showing you, man, but this is the mark of the beast. The RFID chip is the mark of the beast, man. Okay, I'm going to finish playing this.
That we're using inside other devices, only you can't lose it, even though I've been known to lose my hand every once in a while. Now, important to note here, the FDA has granted permission for similar technology to be used before, but they have regulations over concerns of radiation from some of these chips. So there are potential issues out there, but there are regulations in place. I'm guessing you wouldn't do it, Michaela.
It's okay.
I'm completely freaked out by this idea. What if somebody decides to cut off my hand and use my hand to get inside the door somewhere?
It's all good, right?
Okay, maybe I watched too many movies.
What was interesting to me is I actually talked to the CEO of the company behind this technology. It's a different company that's using it for their employees, but the guy who's really one of the inventors behind this. And I said, do you have concerns? And he said, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm concerned about hacking. I would be concerned about governments using it for nefarious things. So even the CEO himself says, yes, it could be used negatively.
Experimental. It'll cut down on the people saying, hey, can I just borrow your badge? Because they have to drag you with it. Interesting. Let us know what more we hear about this, Samuel. We'll watch it with you. Thanks very much.
Okay, so there you go. This is what's being brought out here into the workplaces, man. So you know, hey, that's why the scripture tells you to be circumspect, man. Because hey, man, your boss comes up to you telling you that we adopting this scheme, this program. You know, we're gonna have people have these microchips in their hands so they can do this and work more effectively and all this kind of bullshit, man. You gotta straight shun that. You gotta say, well, I'll give you my fucking walking papers then, man. Okay, that's what it's gotta be. Okay, you given the option. Okay, but yeah, so like I said, a lot of you guys are willing to take the chip. Okay, some of you will be against it. Okay, but like I said, man, if you're in this faith, man, you gonna stay the hell away from any of that, man. Okay, you're gonna stay the hell away with that. All right. Now, in going into the right to work. Okay, because if eventually Esau's plan is to get everybody chipped. Okay, and without this chip, the truth tells you you're not gonna be able to buy or sell. Okay, you ain't gonna be pretty much do anything without the say so of the government. The authoritative body that is administrating these chips, man. The elites. Okay, you ain't gonna be able to do a damn thing or access a damn thing. Okay, without this, and that is gonna be your right to work or your privilege to work or however they're gonna word it. Okay, this is what will allow you to work. It will allow you to buy things. It will allow you to do whatever it is they're allowing you to do. Okay, but right now we do this thing called right to work. Okay, right, before you can employ anybody, they have to have these documents, right? It says that you must check that a job applicant is allowed to work for you in the UK. Okay, we're talking about UK right now. It says before you employ them. It says you must see the applicant's original documents. Okay, birth certificates and shit like passports. Okay, they have to be original documents. Okay, but we all know they're trying to do away with all that kind of stuff and make it all digital. Okay, because why? Because it fits in with all this digital system that Esau is setting up, man. Okay, so you must check that the documents are valid with the applicant present. Okay, so you'll have this chip, man. You'll be scanned. ID, yeah. Okay, that's the dude. Okay, because your face will come up on the screen. I don't know if you've ever been, in them nightclubs back in the day, man. Even now, some of you probably go to nightclubs now, but they will scan you before you go and walk in through the door, man, and your face will come up on there, man. When they check your passport or ID or whatever, man, and they want you on a database there. Basically, if you cause any trouble, and they'll stop you coming in and all that kind of stuff. So it will work in a similar way, right? Or them biometrics and shit, right? So you must make and keep copies of documents and records that the date you made the check. Okay, like I said, this is all going to be on a database. Okay, so you ain't gonna have to do all this paperwork. Okay, that's what they're trying. They're making everything paperless. Banks making shit paperless. All these places are making shit paperless, and holding all this information on a cloud or a hardware system somewhere. Okay, but that goes into all that Internet of Things and them cloud spaces that they use. Okay, to access information, right? It says you could face a civil penalty if you employ an illegal worker and haven't carried out a correct right to work check. Okay, so if you don't want to get this chip, man, guess what? You're gonna be X'd out pretty much, man. You ain't gonna be able to go and do anything. That's the whole point. That's why Esau's gonna have control over the earth, because without this, you will not be able to access anything. Okay, you will not be able to access anything. All right. It says checking the documents. You need to check that the documents are genuine, original, and unchanged, and belong to the person who has given to you. Okay, with a chip, there's no denying that this is who it says you are. You can't get rid of it. They're not just papers you can forge. Okay, it says the dates for the applicant's right to work in the UK have expired. Photos are the same across all documents. Look like the applicant. Dates of birth are the same across. Blah blah blah. The applicant has permission. Notice the word permission to do the type of work you're offering. Okay, everything's gonna be about permission in the elite society, man. You know, you will be allowed to do things based on somebody else's say so. Okay, you're going to be allowed to access this. You're allowed to have this certain benefit. You're allowed to have this certain thing. Okay, so for students, you see evidence of their study and vacation time, blah, blah, blah. If two documents give different names, the applicant has supporting documents showing why they're different. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Right, that's the main thing about that. Okay, and this is what the RFID is going to achieve quite easily, quite simply. Okay, and it's gonna deny you access, or it's gonna allow you access, or whatever to do, whatever it is the elites are allowing you to do, or restricting you to do, or restricting what can be done. Okay. Like I said, this ties in with the scriptures, man. And if you can't see that the mark of the beast is an RFID chip, man, you really are lost. Okay, you really are lost. Okay, and you're gonna be destroyed, man, because you're gonna more than likely take this chip. Okay, because they're gonna offer it to you in a time of need, and you like, yeah, I need food, I need this, that, the other, and the government offering this. That's the only way. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Now, like I said, there's implications and repercussions that are gonna have to be faced from doing such things, right? This is Revelation chapter 13 verse 16, and it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, so that microchip goes in the hand predominantly, but it can be, put anywhere on the body, man. But these are the places they're predominantly going to be, right? And that no man might buy or sell. So there's no buying or selling. You can't go buy, some lamb chops. You can't do none of that. Okay, if you haven't got this, man, you'll be ousted from the system, because you ain't going to be a part of the new system. There's no way to access that new system. Okay, you're not on it if you don't take that chip. Okay, you can't just go. The cash is no cash. It's cashless. Okay, economy's collapsed. There is no cash. Okay, only digital. Okay, and that you need the RFID chip, right? So if he that had, it says no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Alright, so here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Okay, but like I said, shit's gonna go down in this place, man. And people are gonna be desperate. Okay, people are gonna be scared. Okay, people are gonna be hungry. Okay, and like I said, this shit's been introduced now, but not everybody's gonna take the chip right now. It's gathering speed. It's becoming more and more commercial. Okay, but there's gonna be a time where people are gonna be flocking to get this chip, man, because of great distress. Okay, when all this shit goes to hell right now. Okay, financial, the economy collapses, World War III, all this kind of stuff. Okay, but like I said, if you